Hello YouTube, it's me Ross here from the Good Comedy Guide. Sorry about the hat, I have rubbish hair right now, so I thought I'd wear a hat to disguise it. Here for another weekly TV comedy listings and news, and we're here for the week of 29th of February, Saturday 29th of February through to Friday 6th of March. So we'll start as ever with the TV listings. So then for tonight, Saturday 29th, I've got 5 things for you today. So Dave, 8 o'clock, there's an episode of Not Going Out, that's called Hot Tub. On that show today will be Emma Bunton of the Spice Girls, weirdly, and even more weird is Susie Dent from Countdown, the lexicographer. Then at 8 o'clock also on Sky One, it's A League of Their Own, which is the panel show hosted by James Corden and Ashley Cole and Shane Warne. On there, though, will be 2 comedians, Noel Fielding of The Mighty Boosh and Aisling B, the Irish comedian who often is on Live at the Apollo, and she was in a comedy with Sharon Horgan as well. At 10 o'clock on Dave is Hypothetical, which is another panel show hosted by Josh Widdicombe and James Acaster. I'm not sure about James Acaster. I'm not sure about him. I'm not a massive fan of the way he talks, but who's a fan of the way I talk? So who am I? Anyway, on there will be Tom Davis of King Gary, and also Gaz Khan, who is in Man Like Mobeen. At 20 past 10 on Gold, it's a classic, couple of episodes from Royal Family, Series 3. I know one of them is where Twiggy comes around to help remove the wallpaper using one of those strippers. E4 at 11:35, Friday Night Dinner, the whole of the second series. Now, of course, with Series 6 coming out soon, and with them having shown last week on E4 at the same time all of Series 1, I will predict that for the next 4 weeks they will be showing seasons 1 to 5 in its entirety each of those evenings. So over to Sunday 1st of March. Firstly is Ranga Nation at 10 o'clock on BBC 2, and that has as one of its guests Tom Davis. Sarah Pascoe's the other one. So you might recollect that last week John Richardson was in a couple of programmes back to back, one on Saturday, one on Sunday. A couple of weeks before that was Catherine Ryan. So it tends to be that there's a little pattern here where certain comedians are appearing in a couple of shows in my listings. This week it happens to be Tom Davis. At 10:45 on BBC 2, Frankie Ball continues his tour of Scotland, and he'll be going from Oban to Glasgow, one of the, again, classic routes which I mentioned a couple of weeks ago. On Gold at 10 past 11, David Mitchell's comedy Upstart Crow. There's a couple of episodes of that, so you enjoy one of those if you would like. So on Monday, the 2nd of March, I've got 3 comedies for you. Firstly, a classic episode, well, a classic comedy, I should say. 6:20, it's The Good Life on UK Gold. And then 40 minutes later, it's the long-awaited 3rd episode of Series 3 of This Country on BBC 3. So BBC 3, 7 o'clock, episode 3 of Series 3. Yeah. And that episode is called Cynthia. And it features the return of an infamous Mucklow family member. So we don't know necessarily if that is Martin. We know Martin is coming back, but we don't know if that is someone else as well. And obviously the name Cynthia suggests that there might be another family member coming into it. Then on BBC 2 at 10 o'clock, it's the 5th episode of Series 5 of Inside Number 9. I'm sad because it means there's only 2 episodes to go. The series has been okay, not bad. There's been some really good moments. Last week was, for me, by a long way, the best episode of the series, Misdirection. So I'm looking forward to episode 5, which is called Thinking Out Loud, which features, I think, 7 people doing monologues. And that features in it Maxine Peake, who is known for Dinner Ladies, and Phil Davis, who was in the 2012 Channel 4 comedy Hacks, one episode. He's done other stuff though. He's got a long career, but seems to be only one episode here and there in different things. On Tuesday the 3rd of March, there's a bit of a pattern here. Channel 4 at 10 o'clock, The Windsors' second episode of the 3rd series will be on. 10 o'clock again, Sky One. You'll see the pattern forming as it does. 10 o'clock on Sky One. It is the first episode of the long-awaited The Trip to Greece with Steve Coogan and Rob Brydon. So if you have got Sky One, that's where I would be. As I don't, I will be instead watching The Windsors on Channel 4. Wednesday the 4th, Channel 4, 10 o'clock, you guessed it, Home, episode 5 of Series 2, coming to the end there of that series. And then on UK Gold, it is the first episode of Sandylands. I mentioned that a couple of weeks ago, featuring David Williams and Simon Bird. On Thursday the 5th, UK Gold at 7:20. I've gone for another classic. I've gone for Porridge. It's episode 1 of series 3, which is called A Storm in a Teacup, and it's the episode where Fletcher has to find or smuggle some drugs, which are in a little medicine capsule. And it rather amusingly lands plop into someone's cup of tea at the end, or some point during it. And at 10 o'clock, is 10 o'clock? Yes, 10 o'clock on Dave. I have to lift it up because I haven't got my contacts in. Dave, 10 o'clock, it is Meet the Richardsons, second episode. Last week saw the first episode, and there's a repeat earlier in the week as well. This is episode 2. And then last day of the week, Friday, 6th of March, there's a couple of things I've got that I would recommend. Channel 4, if you haven't got E4, I would be watching Gogglebox, just because that's always worth a laugh. But if you have got E4, I'd certainly be there, and that's where I will be watching the In-Betweeners movie. In-Betweeners number 1, which in my opinion, and many people's opinion, is the best of the two. So that concludes the TV for the week. I thought I would also mention a few podcasts that are coming out, or not coming out, but new issues, new episodes of those. So on Saturday, I'm not sure of times with these, but on Saturday, Frank Skinner does his Absolute Radio show and does that as a podcast. So the Absolute Radio version of the Frank Skinner show. On Wednesday, the 4th of March, Off Menu with Ed Gamble and James Acaster will have their new episode. And then on Friday the 6th, it's the new episode of Shagged, Married, Annoyed. There are 3 podcasts that you might look out for. And I think, although I'm not sure on the dates with hers, Lou Sanders' Cuddle Club will have its 4th episode. So the first 3 guests have been her husband, Brett Goldstein, in episode 1. Episode 2 was Catherine Ryan, and episode 3, which was Richard Osman. So episode 4, who knows? I'm guessing it will be one of the small group of comedian friends that they have. Probably someone like Sarah Pascoe, but we'll see. So that's podcasts. In comedy news, on Tuesday 10th of March at 8 o'clock on Channel 4, there's a Celebrity Bake Off, which features a couple of people in the comedy circuit. So Russell Howard is in episode 1, and James Buckley, well, not so much a comedian, but he obviously is in the In-Betweeners, is in episode 2. It was announced earlier last week that in the American version of This Country, the person who has been cast as the vicar, and it won't be Francis Reverend Seaton as it is in England, it's going to be Father Joe, is Sean William Scott, who most people remember as Stifler from American Pie, which is perhaps an odd choice for, I don't know, playing a vicar, but, you know, I can probably see the type of character he's going to play. I'm not sure if I'm filled with confidence or not, but the guy who's directing seems to be quite well known for making good comedy, so we'll see. Ruth Jones has a book tour. Book is called Us Three, and she will be touring across the country, but starting in London on the 10th of May, going via Cardiff and Manchester, and ending up in Kent on the 19th of May. And finally, for this week's TV rundown and comedy rundown, Richard Ayoade from the IT Crowd and other programs, he will be hosting a new game show called Who's Asking, and that is a premise whereby the contestants actually ask the questions. So don't know what that's going to look like, but we'll see. Now, they have free tickets for this, so this is on March the 19th in Hammersmith, West London. So on March the 19th, you can get free tickets to go and watch it being filmed. So what I will do is put a little link up in the comments for this video, or with the description of the video. so that you can apply for free tickets. Tickets are for over 18s only and non-transferable, so you will need to go along if you've booked the tickets with ID to prove that you are the person who booked them. So that's just something to be aware of. And that is it for this week. So thanks very much for tuning in. Please share, subscribe, all the usual, and look out for next week. Thanks very much indeed, and have a great week. Bye-bye.